Welcome back, everyone. Just getting back from a long day, hopping around the mountains in a Casa aircraft. And of course, we were doing that to deliver aid and supplies and people, in fact, to the people in need in Appalachia. So we linked up with folks over at Paraclete XP again. Basically, this video is probably going to be a lot of B-roll of cool flying shots and me talking. But we linked up with the folks over at Paraclete. We brought down some supplies that were donated by our friends over at Olight. They bought, I believe, 60 total portable heaters, and they're the kind of heaters that you can use just off a generator, and if you tip them over, they don't catch fire, which is something that you definitely want in any scenario with a portable heater, but especially when EMS services are not responding in the way they normally would or not functioning in the way they normally would. So we got 60 of those, brought them up there into Avery County, North Carolina, which specifically we were at the Avery County Airport, and that's in Spruce Pine, North Carolina, for those of you guys who are familiar with all of that. And we were there to link up with the folks from U.S. Veteran Corps, and we did do that. We did that successfully. Talked to the director there, Andy, his name I have mentioned here many times on the channel. However, for whatever reason, the microphone receiver on my camera decided to not sync up after about a minute. We have arrived at the Avery County Airport. As you can see, there ain't much around here, but we do have the headquarters for the U.S. Veteran Corps out here, and we're going to go check that out. So right now they only have one tent, but we're bringing in a modular tent that was donated today. So this area is about to grow exponentially. So the audio on that is nil, there is none. So I'm probably rolling in footage of me and Andy talking, and a few things I just want to say that he said in that video that the microphone wasn't recording. So a couple things. He said, very big thank you to all the folks who have supported us from our channel. He actually named a bunch of people who had made large donations who were viewers of the channel. I wish I had the audio so you guys could hear your names and be acknowledged for the good work you've done. However, mentioned that, and then the reason we're moving that location and that tent setup out there, which you guys saw the tan one, we also brought in the green one, which is gigantic. It's a huge tent. Is going to be the new Western headquarters, if you will, for supply aid going into the mountains from the United States Veteran Corps. So they had some workers out there who are already getting everything set up and ready to go. The previous location, which was called Camp Airborne, and this is also going to be called Camp Airborne as well, it's just moved locations, was one of the gentlemen who was there volunteering. It was his backyard. So that was just not sustainable. The biggest thing they had issues with was, one toilet that doesn't really work over all that many people over that amount of time. So it has moved to a more sustainable location there at the Avery County Airport. If you guys are interested in linking up or know families who need help, stuff like that, with that location, I would either just talk to the director of the airport if you are local or they are local, or if you're not, reach out to Andy at, again, the United States Veterans Corps. So moved it to that location simply because they were getting too big for where they were, and also brought in more facilities, if you will, which are, of course, the tents that if you have served in the Marine Corps, Army, or portions of the Air Force, you are very, very familiar with. I believe that one's a GP large, but it's modular, and there was a company that donated it to the United States Veteran Corps, which we absolutely appreciate. If I can get their name, I will put it here on the screen in editing. So basically, good news and bad news. Good news is they have a ton of supplies, nowhere to put it in terms of store it temporarily. Now we have a new facility and easy to store, which is awesome. There's also a road that goes right by that airport, which simplifies logistics. So that is the good news. That was the first stop. Then we flew out to Boone, North Carolina. The Boone Airport is one of the smallest airfields I've ever been to for a city of that size. Like, Boone's not a huge town, but it's not small either. And it definitely has a glorified sidewalk as an airport. So flew into there and dropped off some people who needed to get where they needed to be in order to help out with the efforts. Took off again, and then we flew into another area that I actually hadn't been to yet, and I didn't think was going to be hit so bad, but it absolutely was, and that was Henderson. We flew into that airport, which was hard to spot from the sky, at least to a non-pilot, and the reason for that is that you guys should be seeing the footage here, is that the runway itself still has almost like a silty layer of clay on it, because that airfield was under 12 feet of water. I should be rolling in some photos here of the actual hangars. Every single aircraft that was on the ground during the storm is gone. Like it doesn't work or is physically gone because it was submerged in 12 feet of floodwaters. One of them they had just towed out there, and you guys can kind of see what's left of it. I don't know if that one can be salvaged or not, but obviously that area was hit much harder than I expected. And what was very interesting about the area there, essentially where that is right where the mountains end, and it becomes more of like the foothills. And so there was a couple lakes there, and the tributaries were still like dark mud color water. Again, we should be rolling in some footage of that for you guys to check out. Even, you know, this is what, 3 weeks after, and there was still a lot of mud all over roads and things like that that had not been cleaned up. And the crazy thing about it, and I said this in previous videos as well, but it's interesting to see it because it's hard to convey via a, you know, like a news report or something like that. But, you know, about 30 miles east of there was nothing like that, and the lakes looked perfectly normal, blue water, everything's clear, no problems. So it is a very, the storm rather impacted people in very specific areas, but then sometimes you go, you know, 1,000 yards away and there visibly is almost no impact. So it was random, but it was relatively random, I should say. But then we flew back just a little bit ago, and now I am filming this video. So again, what I really wanted to do is just give you guys an update as to what's going on, because you all are supporting what is happening out there. Additionally, I think I said it earlier, but if you guys want to donate to the United States Veteran Corps, the organization that we were out there with talking with Andy, the link should be on your screen. There will also be in the video description. Another thing I just want to update you guys on as well is the PCS and the Martyrs Walk. That campaign that has been going on side by side with this, the Preparedness Consulting Services. Their new camp should be on your screen. They're open weekdays as of right now, 12 to 5. They want people to come in and pick the supplies up. Like, that's what they're for. One of the big things that we have seen, I have seen personally, to speak for myself, is when talking to the actual people who are the victims of this storm, who have lost everything, who don't have jobs, who still have to pay a mortgage on a house they don't have, etc. It's these people, they're very hesitant to ask for things. There's an 83-year-old woman, what would have been Thursday. There's an 83-year-old woman that one of the volunteers of the organization we were working with had finally made it to. Again, this is almost 3 weeks after the storm. And she had been without oxygen and needing an oxygen machine for like a week at that point. Obviously, they got her generator fuel for her machine. And she said, again, an 83-year-old woman living on the side of a mountain in Tennessee, that was in Tennessee, right on the border, said she didn't want to ask anyone for help because she didn't want to bother anyone. Like, if you guys know anyone like this, tell them we want them to bother us, right? That's why we're doing all this. So they're very proud people, which I understand and obviously respect as well. But yeah, so if you guys are anywhere near where the PCS, the new, I guess we'll call it a fob, if you will, with all the supplies is, if you know anybody near there, send them that way because that's what all the aid is for. That's why all those volunteers are there to get those supplies out to folks. So I think that's pretty much it. As always, Brownells is our main channel sponsor here. They've sponsored all the videos, all the ads that they've done here during this series, if you will, are going to go right back into the people who need it, the money from those ads rather. But many of you know Brownells. They have all kinds of cool stuff, firearms accessories, ammunition, optics, gunsmithing supplies. That's one that they really do a great job with. So definitely check them out. Additionally, if you like this video, unfortunately, it's not going to be the last one. We have a bunch more generators coming in that Olight sent out. So those will be in this week, and those are going to get out as well as other relief supplies that we are also shipping out. So this series is not over. Hopefully in the next one, the audio will work a little better. But it is what it is. I can't go back out to Spruce Pine and refilm. It's just not the way the world works. But hit the subscribe button for follow-on videos. Also, if you guys like guns and gear, that's what we normally talk about here on the channel. Make sure you're signed up for the email address at both the websites here on your screen. And then lastly, we do have a SMS service. So if you're interested in that, definitely check that out. Sign up for that. 1 SMS at most per day, not spammy. Great deal. New video, one of the two, will be in your inbox at some time between 11 a.m. through 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because that's what the FCC says I can send texts at. Because The government dictates text. What is happening? Anyway, thank you all for watching. I truly appreciate it. Thank you for supporting these organizations, all the people who are in the organizations and the people who are receiving the aid greatly support it. So thank you for that. See you in the next video.
Everyone, it's Andy with U.S. Veterans Corps, and we are on our way to Spruce Pine, North Carolina, which we call Camp Airborne. And we're bringing some people with us. We got, hey, Mr. Guns and Gear, say hello. And we got our tent people, say hello.
Hey, how's it going?
So we'll get there pretty soon. I'll see you on the other end.